At it again, and we've got one here with some Charlie Kirk. Got some more Charlie Kirk. I love these videos with TP USA and Charlie Kirk when he's at some of these college campuses and opening some of these students' minds. It's always quite entertaining. But before we hop into it, like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Make sure you are following me on social media too. Those links are down below. And with that being said, let's dive in.
Recently, I got in a debate with this girl at school, and she claimed that in the U.S., women have it harder making money, and I wanted to see your argument to disprove that opinion.
Yeah, so thank you for the question. It's great. So
it's illegal.
It comes from a specific left-wing lie. I actually haven't talked about this in quite some time. Because first, I just want to. I think you should just ask him because it's just hilarious. Just ask him what is a woman. Okay, you just got to get that out of the way, right? Because you got to have it. You got to pick one, right? It's either the womanhood is not a thing or women earn less than men. Like you got to. This is like the inherent civil war that I'm just waiting.
Great point.
And waiting between feminism and the alphabet mafia. Like I just can't wait. Like please go to war eventually because they're inherently at odds with each other, right? Which is like womanhood is amazing. We're under attack. There is no such thing as a woman. Anyone can be a woman. There's only one answer to that. So in a weird way, I actually totally agree with the feminists. Like, womanhood is a very real thing. Women are real, and there are differences between men and women. Okay, to your question, though. Okay, so Gloria Steinem feminism would argue that women are oppressed, and they're oppressed in the workplace. It's part of this whole victimology nonsense. So I'm going to say some numbers. They're going to be imprecise because I haven't done this in a while.
And by the way, for the literal people, I don't think he actually meant an actual war, you know? Like, he didn't mean like physically going to battle, because I know there's some literal people. Oh yeah, Charlie Kirk's actually calling for, like, I don't think that's what he meant by that. I think it was just like a war of like just ideas, just back and forth, kind of yelling back and forth at each other, not like physically. Okay, I just wanted to say that before anybody took that and ran with it, you know, because that's the world we live in now. Oh my goodness, they're calling for war. Oh my gosh.
But basically they say that women earn like what, 82 cents of every dollar of a man. That's the number they usually
it's illegal.
Spout. Is that correct? It might be 78 or 84. So anyway, so what they're not doing though is a couple things. They're not factoring in what did they study in college? How long have they been in the workforce? Okay? How often have they asked their boss for a promotion or a raise? And what did they do in their late 20s? Okay, these are four things. So let's go through this. Women, because women are different than men, we agree, I hope, they're more likely to be nurturing, empathetic, compassionate. They gravitate more towards childhood education, more towards psychology. They study things that pay less, and they have degrees that, by definition, are a lower pay scale. Men are more likely to study engineering, finance, business. Okay, so if women study the same thing as men, and if they enter into a field, and if in their late 20s, which by the way, your late 20s, you'll learn this, 27 through 32 is the big exponent on your career. It's where all of a sudden you get the most promotions, the most responsibility, the kind of the biggest uptick. Most young women, for good reason, praise God, exit the workforce voluntarily to go have children. Okay.
And rightfully so. Having kids is a beautiful thing. And I had a moment the other day where I was like, hold on, wait a minute. All of these things lead to a lower population. When you're telling kids they can be whatever it is that they want, you know, they can just do whatever, blah, 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 you know, and when you're convincing folks, hey, that being overweight is not a bad thing, and anybody that says that it is a bad thing, they are an ist. And all of these other things, and just all of this stuff that is truly like when it comes to like the obese thing. I mean, there's no debate. Like, that is unhealthy. You've never seen an obese 90-year-old. It just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? And there's a good reason why it doesn't happen. You're not going to see a 90-year-old walking around, 300 pounds. It's just, yeah, not going to happen. You might have one outlier out of a million just because of the law of averages. You know, there's always one outlier. But how likely are you going to run into that person or be that one outlier? Not very likely, right? 1 in a million, I'm not taking the chance on that. Hey, 1 in a million, if you hop onto this plane, you'll make it. I'm not getting on the plane. But then you look at some of these other things as well, like I touched on it, and I'm like, hold on. This all leads to a decrease in population. What have some of these elitists been pushing for? A lower population. I mean, listen, I know. A lot of y'all have already thought of this. I'm late to the party. I'll be the first to admit, because I know some of y'all are like, hold on, it took you that long to figure that out? Yes, it did. Because I just wasn't thinking about it in that manner. It just didn't, it just randomly clicked. Wait a minute. They've been pushing for a lower population. How can you do that without just knocking people off yourself? You convince them, for example, with the fat thing, that it's not a bad thing. You just convince them, hey, yeah, being overweight, being super out of shape, it's good. It's good for you. You know, being obese is great. It's just how your body is made. It's fine. Bye. 1 less person, 2 less people, 3 less people, 4 less people, and so on and so on. I know, I'm late to the party, but I just had to say that. Do y'all agree? Maybe I'm wrong. Y'all let me know in the comment section. I could be wrong. Talk to me.
Okay, that exit the workforce voluntarily to go have children. Okay, that removes them from a lot of promotions.
And it's the same thing, and I'll just add this, it's the same thing with like the feminist movement. You need to be a boss chick. You don't need to have a family with a man and be at home with the man. That's toxic masculinity, you know. Goes along the same lines. Lower the population. Just saying.
A lot of raises and things of that nature. Men keep on working through, and so it looks as if, wow, men are earning so much more than women. Now, do you know it's actually against the law to pay women less than men? It's against the law. What they're saying, though, is, well, look at this macro data. Hilariously, in 14 out of 15 of the top cities in America, women earn more than men in their late 20s. If you actually look at when women study the same thing as men, and they make the decision not to have children, and they stay in their career to their early 30s, something I don't recommend. I actually think it creates really miserable women. They actually end up earning more than men. So it's a flat-out lie. I'm happy to send you podcasts, articles, and research and data to support that. But they can't have it both ways. And there are a lot of there's several professions, by the way, where women earn more than men. Nursing, for example, women earn more than men in nursing. It's the fact. No one ever talks about that.
Of course, because it doesn't fit the narrative. Whenever it doesn't fit the narrative, they fold them. And this is why I unfortunately have to give, you know, some of these Democrat politicians their credit. They know when to hold them and they know when to fold them. Nancy Pelosi knows when to hold them cards and display them to you all in your face 24/7, constantly, wherever there's a camera, whenever there's a camera. And if there isn't a camera, she's going to call and make sure there's a camera there, and she's going to put them cards in your face. But then she also knows when to fold them. She also knows when to hide from the camera, when not to be in front, when not to make that phone call to have her camera there, when not to put something dead in your face. I can't say that same thing for Republican leadership. I can't say that same thing for Mitch. I'm sorry. And this isn't me taking a crap on the Republican Party because, you know, obviously I'm part of it at this point. But this is me saying, one, we need new leadership because it's time to ditch Mitch. And I'm going to keep saying that. I really do believe in that. It is time to ditch Mitch. Mitch needs to go. He needs to go. Nancy and Chuck, they're running circles around Mitch. Circles. Kamala could run circles around Mitch. And that's sad to say. Joe could run circles around Mitch. That's like, I'm just saying. Now, and Joe's reading off a teleprompter. You can't beat a man who can barely read off of a teleprompter. Just saying. Just saying. And some of you have said the same thing. Like, it sucks to admit that. It does suck to admit that. I don't want to have to say that. But the truth is the truth. And I'm not going to hide from the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat the truth. That's what they do. I'm not going to be that same person. I'm going to face the truth head on. Doesn't matter if I like it or not. And I don't like it. None of us do. But it is the truth, and we have to acknowledge it. Our leadership sucks. It sucks. I can think of at least 5 different people off the top of my head that I would rather have in Mitch's position. I'm sure you guys can name them too. Matter of fact, who would you put in Mitch's position if the Republican Party came to you and said, who should replace Mitch? It is your decision and your decision only. Who would you pick? Which politician? Let me know. Which politician? Would it be, somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene? Would it be somebody like John Kennedy, who's absolutely hilarious? He's hilarious. Who would it be? Talk to me. Talk to me in the comment section below. I mean, and literally, it could be any Republican politician. Any Republican politician. Who are you picking? I'm curious as to who your answers are. Let me know in the comment section below. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.